Do you identify as black?
When woke Gen Z arguments met basic logic and completely fell apart, let's roll. This feminist confidently argues gender theory until one basic question exposes the contradiction.
Can you identify as a black person?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not black.
I'm not a woman, but I can identify as a woman according to you.
If you transition, maybe.
What defines a transition?
If that's your goal, you know?
If you believe it.
Sure.
If you believe you're black, why aren't you black?
Well, that's just not, that's like genetics. That's like ancestry.
You're also born a man or a woman. It's the same thing. That's also genetics.
Okay, I'm over it.
A woke activist challenges Alan West on his blackness. It does not go the way she planned.
Do you identify as black? No, it's a serious question because you might not identify. Can you please put the mic? Thank you. Okay.
When I walked into the room,
I am not done with my question.
young lady.
I'm just asking you to listen to me while
I'm about to answer the first question.
But I didn't finish my question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm black.
A feminist attempts to defend transgender ideology and accidentally defeats her own argument on live TV.
If you'd like to be a woman, you can identify as a woman. I don't know why there is such an issue.
Anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with it.
Just literally put the hand up and say I'm a woman. Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was...
I'm serious. I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I, on International Women's Day, say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status,
I think
we're
that's
talking about quite a
with
strong
respect, I think that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. How many genders are there?
2.
There are 2 genders.
Oh.
Wow. So you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Well, I think there are...
Whoa, hang on. Whoa. There are 2 genders?
Well, it's taught in...
Well, you say, well, you've literally just launched this huge defense of transgenderism. Now you've eradicated it.
On Dr. Phil, a man calmly explains biological gender to a woman claiming men can menstruate.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Cis men don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive to cis women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body menstruated at some point.
If your chromosomes are XX and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary?
They're
We're
not
excluding
men.
a whole group of people
They're women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an example when we've learned and gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely different.
They are completely different.
Completely different words.
This is what you're born with, the sexual reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely
Well, I don't
different
accept that
things.
distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
Matt Walsh asks a woke student one simple question. The silence says everything.
So I always have to ask the question at the end. I mean, everyone knows what the question is going to be. But so what is a woman? Can you define the term?
I think the answer to what is a woman is a person who aligns with feminine traits that we traditionally associate with females, or that people that align with the feminine side of the spectrum. So that's my answer. And I think that answer should, the definition of everything changes over time. And as we continue to learn more about what humans can really be, I think that can continue to grow. And I hope you understand that.
A student tries to corner Ben Shapiro. Logic ends the conversation in seconds.
I'm a mathematician and a physicist. You cannot tell me.
So I have a question.
And also, you're not a biologist.
So I have a question.
I'm 20.
As a mathematician and a physicist, what in the hell do you know about human biology?
And you got your law degree from Harvard. What do you know about biology? You got your law degree from Harvard.
And frankly,
what do you know about biology?
And frankly, I would ask another question. If your logic is so flawed as a mathematician and a physicist, I would suggest that whichever institution gave you an award, revoke it immediately.
Woke students tear down Matt Walsh flyers, then get confronted and can't explain why.
Why are you destroying private property? That's not cool. You just can't take down other people's ideas because you disagree with the idea of it. If your guys' ideas are so fragile they can never be challenged without you ripping down that, I think that says more about your ideas than his.
She has a point. Yes.
Happy. Posters aren't supposed to be on the lampposts because you need to have permission to place them.
Like how your flyer is on the pole?
Strike two.
So the only free speech that's allowed to happen is yours. Is that what you're saying?
Are you just going to stand there?
I'm not going to interact with you. If you want interaction, it's not going to happen.
Never been much for confrontation.
But you won't come and ask him a question.
You scared of him?
Go put up the fire. Come on.
Just so you can tear them down again?
Yep!
There's still plenty up, aren't there?
We're not taking down your flyers. We're not covering up your flyers. I don't know why you feel the need to take ours down.
It's called double standard.
You want to call us fascists. You want to say that we're horrible people because we have different viewpoints than you, but you're the ones taking down the flag.
Woke protesters walk out mid-speech. D'Souza responds with calm, brutal clarity.
See, like these guys are walking out, they're too lazy to debate with me. They're not going to. I mean, they aren't. They aren't. Because, I'll tell you why. Hold on. Look, I'm here. I'm here.
Respect this institution, though, you would, think about that. Like, if you respect the institution and the standards that this institution upholds, for you to say that they're lazy is kind of a bit
I'm not
out
saying
of
that they're
line.
lazy people. I'm simply saying that they are not willing to do the intellectual work to stand up face to face with me.
Vince Dow challenges white privilege narratives in a group setting. The room completely loses control.
Statistically, it is true that Asians, right, on average, make more money, better test scores, get into better colleges, all that stuff. I think the question is, why is that? And I don't know, model minority, whatever that label wants
That's
to mean.
actually a myth because we cannot be.
Well, no, listen. Well, let me finish my point. We need to observe what makes people successful and unsuccessful. And I think when you look at trends that are generally true in the Asian community, not of everyone, but are generally true, usually you have families that are sticking together. You have people are taught to work hard in school, not get into trouble. I think that translates to why Asians en masse are successful. And I don't think you have to be Asian or white for that matter to not have kids out of wedlock, not, commit crime, not cause trouble or whatever it is. It's just a matter of common sense. That's what makes people successful. And if that's so-called assimilation, having a nuclear family, buying a house, going to school, whatever it is, then yeah, okay, call me a pro-assimilation then.
I think there's a difference between assimilation and erasure.
Yes.
Matt Walsh debates a trans activist. The same question still has no answer.
Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct, is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not myself.
You used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people who...
That describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Okay. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
A student attempts to lecture Michael Knowles on climate change and gets corrected in real time.
I said that the mankind is not going to be wiped out within 20 years because no scientist says... I'm sorry?
Science would disagree.
Which scientist?
The 97% of all scientists who say that 1 to 2 degrees Celsius will melt the ice caps such that there will be rising sea levels, mass extinctions, and it won't end the Earth, but it will change to a certain point the ecology of our planet such that it is much more difficult for humans to survive. That is the consensus. And a lot of climate change deniers like yourself, like Ben, like Clavin, they perpetuate that this is all a liberal hoax and that science...
No, I'm not saying it's a liberal. I mean, it's obviously being pushed by politicians primarily. That's why at the United Nations, it's not...
politics. politicians are going to push political issues.
Right, it's politics, not science. That's my point.
Kristan Hawkins responds to claims that unborn babies are parasitic. Facts end the discussion.
Animals are separate from our body and do not have a parasitic relationship with the person that they're inhabiting. So
Parasitic? Wow.
I would call it parasitic, yes. They drain
They are a
resources.
parasite.
Let me
interrupt. So ChatGPT.
It's Kristen's new favorite toy. She plays on it a lot.
Is a parasite a different species? Yes. A parasite is typically a different species than the host. So when you're talking about a parasitic relationship, you're talking about a foreign body, of something foreign that's in your body. When you're talking about a child in the womb, it's exactly where he or she is supposed to be. And in fact, the child in the womb tells itself how to develop. It's actually not the mother's body that develops the organ that sustains the child's life. It's the child telling the body how to develop an organ to sustain its own life. The other superhero thing is when we're pregnant, we actually have better immunity because our child is actually giving us extra immunity. So it's not actually a parasitic relationship.
Which clip shut it down the hardest? Comment below and let everyone know.